So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Benoit Charnallet from TSC Auto ID, in charge of RFID development in EMEA. The idea today is to give you an overview of the main criteria you have to consider when you have to select a RFID printing device. What are the must-have? What are the good-to-have? So that at the end you have the solution you need that fits with your needs and which will reply and will do the job. Few words before starting. What is a TSC Auto ID technology company? We are a Taiwanese company based in Taipei with some branch all over the world, in US and in Europe. We are a manufacturer. We are operating with two brands, the TSC brand and the Printronix Auto ID brands. Two brands which are really complementary, two brands under the same roof, which give us a complete portfolio and printing solution to give to reply to the customer needs. So we have some desktop printers, some industrial printers, some print and apply system. We have also some mobile printers, and of course, the RFID feature on some of our printers. So a few facts before starting. The first one is the RFID encoding is really at the beginning of the efficiency of your system, of your processes. The second point is if your RFID encoder is, the RFID printer is often evaluated at the end of the process. You make all the complete processes, and at the end you say, oh, I need to encode also my labels. What do I need? And if one of the components of the solution fails, all your solution doesn't work. It can be at the inlay or the label level. It can be from the reader, from the middleware, from the data processing. Each part of the system needs to be efficient and reliable. So a few words on the ecosystem, what we can consider. So you have the hardware, antennas, readers, RFID printers. You have the business application, WMS. You have ERP and so on, label software solution. Middleware for all the data, RFID data processing, and the supplies, which are mainly the labels. So in your component, what components you need to consider when you are building your RFID solution? The first one is what type of inlay, what type of chip you will have to encode. You have to consider the memory you need, small or large memories. Will you use it as an open loop with the EPC standard, or will it be a closed loop with private data? Do you need some special features that are included in some chip? Read, rewrite, kill the chip, for example? And will it be standard labels based on paper, or will it be some special tags based on metal tags, for example? You have also to consider the volume of labels that you will need to put in your supply chain, because it will size the kind of printer you will need to use. The way it will be implemented also, will you print on demand? Will you print some batch? Will it be applied manually? Will it be applied automatically? That's also a point to consider, because you will select also different kind of device with different kind of options to do the job. And also very important, how can I integrate it in my system? Is it easy or not easy? How can I put the printer working well with all my processes, all my system? And of course, you have to secure your investment and to have some versatility in the equipment. So let's start by the inlay. What do I need to consider for the inlay? First thing, one point which is quite critical is the size of the label. On a printer, it's very easy to encode large labels. But if you go to very small labels, it's very challenging to just encode and read the right tag, not the label before, not the label after. So the capability to treat and to manage short pitch, the short pitch being the short distance between two chips, is very important. And also, what kind of supplies, what kind of labels I can manage. Standard paper or standard paper and metal tags. The second point, which is also very key, is the checking capability and the void capability of the printer. It's very important that each time a label is printed and encoded, when you put it in the supply chain, you need to know and you need to be sure that the tag has been well encoded with the right information you want to have on it. So that's the second point, which is very important. And after, what kind of memory type you can support? The standard one is everybody do it. It's easy. Min memory, most of them are doing it on the market. But when you go to high memory, it starts to be very specific. And we have the capability to treat very special tags to allocate the memory and to the encoding to the user memory as well as the EPC memory. For example, we have the ATA 2000, which is used in aviation, which have some specific order in the data, and we can do this kind of encoding. The volume to produce, that's also important. With TSC, we have a large portfolio that can fit with all the needs. So we have some printers to fit with almost all the segments or all the volume you need to print. The second point is the way you encode and the way the printer is managing the production of your tags. We have two different ways to encode. The one which is the most common is you print and you encode, or you encode and you print, which makes some movement of the labels in the printer, which makes some quite slow processes. The second point is to be able to print and encode at the same time. We say that we print and encode on the fly. It's not very visible, but you have two cases at the same printer with two different configurations. On the right, it is a standard print, encode, then encode, print, and so on. On the second one, you can see it's printing and encoding at the same time. So we make a sort of benchmark. This is quite unique on the market to have this capability. So for the same number of labels, you will see the difference. At 26 seconds, we have done the job with the print and encode on the fly. On the other side, for the same number of labels, we will be at 1 minute and 50 seconds. So you see the ratio is huge. So, as I said, we have a complete portfolio in RFID to match with most of the need, from mobile printers, the Alpha 40. We have a desktop printer, the T800. T4000 is entry-level industrial printer, and the T6000 for 4-inch and 6-inch capabilities. Different resolution, 200, 300, 600 dpi. Some printer which can fit from 1,000 to 10,000 labels per day. All of them are the feature of the high-speed encoding, which means the print and encode at the same time, all the portfolio. All the portfolio have also different languages of the print language. We have the Printronix language, ZPL, SATO, MGL, and so on. So you can integrate this printer in some existing, let's say, environment without making any modification to the environment. And of course, you have the high memory encoding on all the printer. And for the industrial printer, if you have one standard printer today, you want to make the upgrade for RFID, you just get the kit, mount it, and then you have your RFID printer. And with all the update with the firmware, you have always the latest version and the latest capability of the RFID tag which are available on the market, for example. And of course, we are supporting most of the RFID tags which are generally used. Standard, on metal tag, short pitch, all EPC standard Gen 2, of course. And we have the capability to overstrike bad label when you have the printer is checking the chip, encoding the chip, recheck the chip. If something is wrong, it's rewinding, it's overstriking, so you know that the label is clearly identified as being not correct. You can remove it from the supply chain, and then you reprint the same thing. And we have integrated some statistic tools that you can collect all the data that you encode to get it back to make reports and so on, to know what you have encoded and what was the level, the ratio of good and bad label and so on. Another thing which is interesting when you select the product is how easy it to use, and calibration is really a key point. We have in all our product RFID auto calibration feature, very easy, which takes 2-3 minutes. It is the same process than calibrating a label. You put your roll. You make the calibration, it's automatically detecting which kind of chip is it, and adjust the parameter in read and write power. You save the configuration, and then the printer is ready to go, ready to work. The main benefits of that, if you are using different size and different kind of chip, you can save different configuration. The second point is, which is also very important today, there is some shortage on many raw materials. So one day you will have a supplier who will make for you some labels with a certain positioning of the inlay. You don't have any more availability. You have to go to another supplier. And unfortunately, this second supplier will put the inlay at another place. With this capability, it's not a problem. The place of the inlay on the label doesn't matter. You just redo a calibration and it will work, which is not the case in some other situation. One thing also on the metal tag capabilities, which we have as standard on our industrial printer, entry-level and high-volume printers. So the T4000 and T6000 can support some big thickness of the tags. The T4000 can be up to 1.2 millimeters, which is already quite big, and on the T6000, it's up to 2.1 millimeters. It is a standard product. It's not an option. The standard product can do that from the beginning. So it's mainly used in asset tracking or in some production tools and so on. It's really unique to have one product which is so flexible without any modification. So just a quick summarize of what we have. So as I said, auto calibration. Very easy for the user, very easy for the operator, very easy also for the integrator when you have to do the installation. It's quite interesting to have something which is easy to install. We have in some models some mobile antenna, also quite interesting if you have some specific size of labels, which needs to have an adjustment of the positioning of the antenna to make sure that the encoding is optimal. The pitch. The pitch is a very small label. If you take 1.5 centimeter of pitch, it's almost the basic inlay which are not yet input in a label. So you can potentially encode some just inlay, very short inlay on all our printer. The RFID integrity is the check of the chip, check and void if there is an issue. The print and encode on the fly, we talk about that, and the metal tag for all the industrial printers. So to conclude, if you have to consider the key criteria to select the right product, ensuring high reliability, easy integration, high versatility, and investment sustainability. TSC have the product under the Printronix brand or the TSC brand. We have the product for you. So thank you very much. If you have any question, I will be pleased to respond.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Are there any questions from the audience? If not, I do have a question myself, actually.
Yes.
So, how barcode labels are still prevalent in logistics. Do you think this will ever change? Because you're talking about RFID printers. So, will RFID printers slowly replace, barcode printers in the future? What are your thoughts?
I think today it's two things which are complementary, because to have a complete RFID supply chain, it implies a lot of investment and a lot of everybody has to be at the same level. And today, whatever is a supply chain, for example, in retail, some suppliers are not at the level of, they are not at all at the same level. And the capability to have some disruption in the RFID chain is very important. So the barcode will remain to ensure the transition when there is some cut in this supply chain.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.